Yes. Hello, friends. Welcome to a Geekscape special. And putting the special in special is me, Christian Bladt. And we're here to offer your unofficial guide to the 2026 Academy Awards. And by the way, the Academy Awards are sometimes known as the Oscar because the statue looked like somebody's Uncle Oscar. Do I remember who? No. But with me is Eric Connor. He doesn't look like Uncle Oscar. He's way more handsome. How are you, sir?
Ah, thank you. I did have an Uncle Irving, never an Uncle Oscar.
Oh, well, I think I don't know. I was gonna say something funny, but then it just didn't come to me. Because
Take two.
there's a funny thing about the name Irving, and then I realized like, oh, you're probably not gonna know it. Although that's like, there are some names that don't sound good being yelled out during coitus. I believe it's a Billy Crystal bit, and I think
That's my father-in-law's name, actually.
is
In When
Irving.
Harry Met Sally,
Yeah, yeah,
Sheldon. Do,
Sheldon. Yeah, yeah, that's
do
it.
me, Sheldon. Ride me, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
hats off to my father-in-law, who is a proud card-carrying Sheldon.
Oh
And I
my
watched
gosh.
that scene with him, and as funny as that movie is, watching it with an actual Sheldon in the room, priceless.
Just next level. So,
Oh, yeah.
the Academy Awards are this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. They've like learned something over the years. Like, why not start it a little earlier? And 4 p.m. Pacific. And if you live here like Eric and I do, you kind of have to watch. All other TV transmissions are blacked out so that you have to watch the Oscars. And if you try to go somewhere and do something else, they do Clockwork Orange your eyes open and they're
Yep.
propped open. And all you can do is watch these Academy Awards. Personally, I'm excited for the show because it's hosted by Conan O'Brien, the great Conan O'Brien. So we'll see what we get. You and I were talking before we started. There are many movies that are in the talk, in the hunt that we have not seen. But I feel like when it comes to these movies, there's really only two you need to see. And I've seen both of those. And I think that one of the things that people look towards is best picture. And we have that thing now where there can be 10 films nominated for best picture. That's a doozy. So anybody who's joining us right now on YouTube can see alongside us. But if you're just listening to us, it's going to be tough to not glaze over. So I'm going to mention just the titles of the 10 films nominated for Best Picture: Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Morty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Eric, I feel like it's a dogfight between Sinners and One Battle After Another for all the major awards. Now, when
Pretty
we get
much.
to some of the acting categories, I think Best Actress, Best Lead Actress, there's no one from either of those films. But other than that, it's a lot of like a showdown between that. Do you think that that's an accurate characterization of what's going to happen on Sunday night? It's really going to come down to those two.
I think that's fair. And to Sinner's credit, like for a little while there, it looked like One Battle After Another was going to run away with this thing. And we'll, when we get to our nominee or our predictions, I still might be feeling that way. But Sinners, apparently, the Buds, as they call it out here in this West Coast, in this
Yes.
Burbank, in this California, yay, it is like apparently Sinners has really gained some traction. It did well at the what's now called the Actor Awards, formerly the SAG Awards,
Oh,
and I could see it. I mean, Sinners is having kind of a second moment. It came out relatively early in the calendar year, but obviously, like it made a real splash, and it was a real hit for Warner Brothers too. Warner Brothers, by the way, absolutely just like was racking up this year. I mean, just had the hottest of hands, and then the bride comes out and it's like, maybe we'll cool it off a little bit. But Warner Brothers took some big swings, and they didn't necessarily make all that much money from, I don't know, one battle after another, but they definitely the Oscars are theirs to lose.
yes, and I think that's very much the case. So it seems like it's one of the, look, and I've seen both of those films. I've seen Sinners, I've seen One Battle After Another, and I enjoyed them both. Not everyone enjoyed both of those films, by the way. I have a friend that I do a show with, and she hated Sinners with the white hot passion of 1,000 suns. She could not have hated it any more than she did. But One Battle After Another, she loves it. I thought they were both good. I know, hot take, right, Eric?
Hot take: two of the most beloved movies of the year were both beloved by Christian Blatt. The
Yeah,
hottest of
and
takes from the hottest of men.
well, thank you, sir. What about by you? Did you enjoy both of these films?
Incredibly so.
Yeah.
One Battle After Another, I think particularly was one that like got me. I saw it. What they call it? I think it was Vista Vision or something. It was just like,
Yeah, so that's there's a theater called the Vista, which is one of multiple theaters that Quentin Tarantino owns. And how was it presented? What was Vista Vision?
well, so where I thought it was, I thought it was going to be like a 70 millimeter,
Yeah.
wide, super wide screen. It wasn't. Its aspect ratio was a little bit closer to a square, but the colors were just, without sounding douchey, the colors were just so rich and vibrant. And I mean, it just had a different feel than any movie I've seen on the big screen in a long time. So not the biggest image, but maybe just it felt like there was like almost like the most depth to it, not in a 3D way, but
Right.
just felt like you could sort of, I don't know, see the color grade of everything. And it was great too. I saw it like on a Friday morning, uh,
Oh,
and it was packed. It was like sold out because this was the only place in town to see it in this
in Vista
legendary
Vision.
Vista Vision, which is so legendary that even the two of us didn't quite know what it was, and yet it was just exciting seeing that on a big screen. It had a great audience, and people loved it from the word go. I mean, it just plays, and one of Leo's best performances. I mean, everything about that movie just got me. It was seeing Sean Penn just rip up the screen. He's so good. And then like Benicio del Toro shows up, and he's amazing. Like, it was just one remarkable hit after another in that movie. So that one I do it. And Sinners I thought was incredible, considering
Yeah.
it's just a horror film, but it's
Well,
next level horror.
One Battle After Another has a tremendous cast, and sort of what you're talking about is it's like, it builds as it goes along. Benicio del Toro doesn't come in until, I don't know, I think Act Three, early in Act Three, and he's in it a lot from the point that he's there. And you're like, oh yeah, this guy is, he's, of course he's a great actor, but he's kind of dominating once he's on, and Leo's still there doing his thing. I think that the one thing is, like, this is a very good performance for Leo. We'll talk a little
Yeah.
bit more about that when we get to the actors. How it's a little bit more cut and dried for me, but and then Sinners, of course, has Michael B. Jordan playing two characters. Neither one of them are his character from the 2015 Fantastic Four movie where he played Johnny Storm.
And
I thought that,
despite that, I still like the film,
yeah, I
even
know,
though he
right?
didn't play Johnny
Even though he
Storm
didn't.
style.
And you want to talk about a movie that it's really one movie where they're planning the party, and then once the party starts, it's like it's a complete, as Pink says, when they get the party started, it feels like a completely different movie.
Yeah.
It's not as drastic, but it's like Full Metal Jacket is a boot camp movie, and then it's a We're Off in War movie. They're completely different movies, and it's such a different feel. You're still with the same characters, and yeah, I think that just great ensemble pieces like this, getting them both nominated in the same year is unfortunate for one of them when it comes to the category of Best Picture, because there are plenty of years where there would be no competition. Nothing would come close to either one of these movies.
Yeah.
But they got to be released by each other. And as you pointed out, it's the same studio. It's almost like they should have known. Although, Warner Brothers hasn't been in a situation where they could just kind of put something on the shelf for a while, unless they were using it as a tax write-off. But you can't wait for the next Oscar season. So,
and I think they also, too, in their own ways, both speak to 2025, 2026. Like, even though Sinners is, very much an old very much a period piece and a horror and
Yes.
the genre film on top of that, but it's saying a lot. And then One Battle After Another, the subtext is all over the text. And that
Yeah,
was a movie where,
the text is not so sub. It is very
no,
much in your face from the first scene, really. Yes.
but and I think it's also, such a bold movie because like One Battle After Another, I mean, like it's basically mocking both sides. I mean, it's really remarkable satire because it could have run out of gas quickly. And even by the way, you're talking about like Benicio del Toro shows up and kind of late in that film and takes it over without really being showy. By the way, I think like what he
Yeah.
did was
Right.
so really grounded and wacky and weird, but totally within that world. Um, what happens with One Battle After Another when his daughter becomes a teenager and
Yeah.
suddenly Chase Infinity, right? That's her name.
It is.
She
Yes.
she takes over and she's fantastic. In fact, I think if she campaigned to be supporting actress, she very much could have gotten a nomination. I think as best actress, it was a crowded playing field,
Yes.
and her roles like it's a touch small for best actress,
She.
and so I get
She.
it, but
Yeah. Yeah, you can make the case for supporting, even though it might even be a little bit less
too
screen
big for
time than
that.
we're used to get. Unable to join us for this broadcast was our friend James Thorpe, and I think you say it Torpy,
And he's but
from
he's represented on paper. I did in
yes,
the service. I printed it out.
from Geekscape. So I think that I want to sort of start top down from Best Picture, and he sent us a note. And in that note, he said that his pick for Best Picture is Sinners, and he says, "Listen, I know it's going to be one battle after another, but I got a dream." And I would say it is not that cut and dried. I think if Sinners wins, it's not an upset. It's not an upset. It's not a shock. I wouldn't even say it's a surprise. At the same time, one battle after another, none of those things either. But I have the feeling that it's going to be Sinners. Sinners isn't going to win Best Picture. I think that there will be an acknowledgement to the craft, but I think that one battle after another is really kind of the Academy's sort of the message is more modern and
Yeah.
and I think ultimately Sinners being a bit of a genre film, it might work against it and look, I'm just thinking of older Academy voters. I'm not thinking about which one's a better movie. They're both great movies. Which one do you think has the edge? And we're sorry, other 8 movies. We just don't feel like you have a chance.
I mean, imagine the moment when they go, and the winner is Train Dreams,
Listen,
and then
if F1 wins, I'm never gonna stop laughing. Like literally
for the
never.
rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be like those comic book panels with the Joker where it's just
Right.
yeah, ha 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 everywhere. It's
At your
I
funeral,
I
to be
won't be
the
able to
little
stop.
laugh bag.
Yeah, right, exactly. Which I think is what they used to call me in middle
Yay!
school. But
What? Yeah,
what do you think? Do you feel like okay, I feel like this one's gonna win, or is it flip a coin on the night of?
I'm still going one battle after another, and I realized as I was kind of looking through my picks, and I use paper still, and I have a pen and all these wonderfully old fashioned things. I realized like age came up a couple times for me as like the deciding factor. I think Paul Thomas Anderson has he doesn't lack for nominations. He's had a remarkable 30-year run of being invited to the show, and I think now it's finally
Yeah.
kind of his time to cash in. So
Yes, he
yeah,
has had decades of making great films and Licorice Pizza. He has made so many great films, and he also made a movie called Licorice Pizza. But this year was a return to form for him,
yeah,
and it's uh, you know, depending on your algorithm, there may be people who have a real problem with the message of the film. A lot of times, even when you don't agree with the message of a film, you can just take a step back and go like, "Oh, this is great." So you feel like it's PTA's night for Best Picture.
yeah. And as we get through, you'll see his name will come up. His name will come out of my mouth many times because I think he's gonna potentially run the table. as
Interesting.
multi-hyphenate, but we will get to those. And
We
so, yeah, it sounds like all three of us, one battle after another.
Yeah, well, he's picking Sinners, but he thinks
Oh,
One
right.
Battle After Another. So his
I'm so
pick,
sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
his
okay.
official pick locked in is Sinners. He just he thinks it's going to be One Battle After Another. By the way, a funny comment in the chat from Chris Tuttle checking in from the land of Scots. Braveheart and Titanic couldn't even qualify for Oscars consideration because of the lack of diversity. That's pretty dumb. Does it mean anything anymore? Did it really? And then a quick follow up. I seen that on Bill Murray. I'm not an Oscars guy, so I just thought it was funny that he's like got this strong opinion that
Well,
he doesn't.
hold on.
actually-
Titanic had very diverse people. They were all in steerage, and they died quick, but they were
Yes,
there.
that's true. Yeah,
They
that's
had
true. We're all
accents.
there. So for me, what I think is going to happen, One Battle After Another Oscar, but the nod for Best Director goes to Ryan Coogler. Because they feel like this was also great. This was a great achievement. We want to give him something. He just didn't happen to make the best picture by way of comparison. And, I'd say of these, knowing the makeup of the Academy, Hamnet or Marty Supreme, sure, those could certainly win. Those feel like things that would be Oscar winners. But I was reading that Timothy Chalamet has really done himself a disservice by opening his mouth so much. And there are people who might have been inclined to vote for him who have decided that they don't want to. And it's all like, anonymous sourced, and maybe it's not true. But he has kind of been out there a lot. Wouldn't you agree, Eric?
I think his recent round of idiotic comments, though, came after the ballots were already in. So he was like, well, he's
That's
busting
fair.
on like opera and musicals. I don't know. His mouth is not his friend. That's for sure. But so if we're talking best actor, my personal would be Ethan Hawke. I loved him so much in Blue.
Well, I'm
Moon.
talking about Best Director.
Oh, best director. I'm so sorry. So
Yeah. So I'm saying that they give the nod to Coogler. We'll get down to Best Director.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna still go with Paul Thomas Anderson. Coogler's young. He will be here again. I'm not saying Paul Thomas Anderson wouldn't. He's not that old, but I think so much of what made this work was his work with his actors, and none of them are gonna, I think, win in my humble opinion.
Yes.
YouTube terms of service, it's not gonna be any of them. So and again, Cougar easily could. I think like you can in some ways flip a coin, but I think I still see this as PT's night. As I believe, James sides with you.
James agrees that Coogler, and again, he's not even hedging his bets. He's like, this is what I want to win, but I do think that he thinks that it could go to PTA. And these categories, I think it's only between those two. When we do get down to Best Actor, if the votes were cast early, I would say Timothy Chalamet has a very good shot for the personality-driven Marty Supreme. It is a movie where he doesn't butcher Bob Dylan songs, so perhaps he has a chance. But I'm just mostly tongue in cheek because nobody butchers Bob Dylan songs the way Bob Dylan does these days.
Especially live.
Apologies to our friends Liam McEnany and my pal Adam Bush, who are both very huge Dylan fans. But I said what I said. But I think between those two, Leonardo DiCaprio and Michael B. Jordan, I think Michael B. Jordan gets the edge, not just because he played two characters, and they were two characters because one of them wore a hat. I can easily think off the top of my head of 3 movies where Leonardo DiCaprio gave a better performance. This isn't a bad performance. This is not his best performance. I think that Michael B. Jordan sort of, a career filled with great performances. This was kind of next level. He was these 2 larger than life characters in the same film. So he is my pick for Best Actor. And it is also James's pick. But you kind of gave us a sneak peek, as they say, because you feel like something very different.
By the way, I already know who won the Golden Raspberry Awards, but I don't think I'm allowed to spoil that. I got a
Was
sneak
Dakota
peek.
Johnson nominated for? Well, that would be Best Actress. I don't know if she was in it.
No, I
Well,
don't think
actually, I
she
saw
made
her in
that
a
cut.
movie. I saw her in a movie this year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
that's right. By virtue of her showing up on the screen, the chances are
yeah,
high.
the odds are very high. Yeah,
It's the
but
Stallone factor. I
Frank Stallone.
Right. Is there another one? Uh,
Not that I know of.
Best actor. Yeah, I'm thinking Timothy Chalamet still because I also
Oh, I
think
thought
that's
you were
the
going to
old.
say Ethan Hawke. I thought that's what you were saying
No,
before.
no, I think it's gonna be so. Who I want, Ethan Hawke, who will
Yeah.
get it, and in my humble opinion, Timothy Chalamet, because I think it's the only award Marty Supreme will win. I don't
Yes,
think it's
I
winning
I
anything
do
else.
I do agree that that's the only scenario that I can see, and I think I'm a little Chalamet out. So that's why I don't know. If you asked me this when the nominations came out, I was like, I remember thinking, oh yeah, definitely Timothy Chalamet. But I think again, it comes down to Leo versus Michael B. And sorry, Wagner Mora for the secret agent. We don't. We hardly knew Ying.
Yeah,
um,
I think Michael B. Jordan. I mean, I honestly, I'd be thrilled if he won personally, just
yeah,
as a fan of his. I know a lot of people loved him in The Wire. For me, it was Friday Night Lights made me just realize, like, oh my god, this guy's incredible. And then Fruitvale Station, and so he comes. I mean, just what he brings to the screen every time. I mean, he managed to be so good, you almost forget he was in Fantastic Four. Like when I
yeah,
look back on
almost,
it, I
almost. Yeah,
oh,
I'll never
well,
forget,
listen,
but almost.
I mean, listen, he's not a magician. But yeah, the double casting,
Yeah.
which I mean, I didn't think it could ever be better than two Jean Claude Van Dammes in one film, and I was proven wrong with Kobe Jordan. So I think it could easily land in his lap. I think Leo already won it not that long ago. In my, I know it's 10 years, but in compared to I don't know our ages, 10 years doesn't seem that long ago.
No. Was there a Growing Pains movie? I'm not quite sure what no, I kid, Leo, I kid. Yes, obviously. Uh I yeah, so that's sort of my thinking on there. The problem with the best actress category is that I have seen none of these films, but I look at the list: Jessie Buckley and Hamnet, Rose Byrne, and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson in Song Sung Blue, Renee Reinsve in Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone in Begonia. I go, oh, Emma Stone is a star and an actress with a capital A, and the Academy loves her. So I'm putting all my chips in for Emma Stone. And James gives a vote to Jessie Buckley and Hamnet. And I haven't seen Hamnet, and I know James really loved The Bride. It is one of the worst movies I've seen in a very long time. I we're on a text thread together, and I said the only crime about The Bride is that it is ineligible for this year's Razzie Awards. A
Uh,
shocking bad
Can I
decision
top?
after bad decision. Well, let me just make a point. I'm going to tie it all
Yes.
together. Jesse Buckley plays two characters in that, and they are both way too over the top. Dial it back just a bit, a little something. But I haven't seen Hamnet, and it does seem like an actory movie. So, and I love Rose Byrne and everything I have seen her in. I just haven't seen the film with a great title. If I had legs, I'd kick you. Now, what were you going to
Yeah,
say, Mr. Eric?
I was going to top your quote with a quote by you
Oh,
because something you texted me as well was
what
we
did I
all owe,
say?
after you saw The Bride, you said we all owe Joker 2 an apology.
I do feel pretty strongly because
And
they're
I
actually not
quoted you
that
on that.
dissimilar. They're
I
not
did
that
quote you.
dissimilar.
Which makes me now excited to see The Bride. I
Um, Lady
I was
Gaga would have been great as the bride, but the movie
uh,
still would have been garbage. And by the way, again, Chris Tuthill, the only one being up late enough. Hamnet, I've been calling it Hamlet this whole time. So many ruined conversations. Thank you, Chris.
spoiler alert on Hamlet, but I'll hold off on that until the end. You have to stick around. Jesse Buckley's winning this one. I mean, this is the most. I think of the big categories. This is the most sure thing. She's like swept basically all the critics awards. I did see Begonia. Emma Stone is actually quite great. She's already won 2 Oscars. I saw Song Sung Blue. It was a terrific comeback for Kate Hudson. Uh, but in the end of it all, it is a biopic, not even about Neil Diamond, but about a Neil Diamond cover band,
Yeah.
which has so many tragedies in it. By the way, it is the thing you don't quite realize in the ad is you're like, okay, how many tragedies could we throw into one film? Song Sung Blue takes that and doubles down on it. So Kate
What
is
one
terrific.
one bummer after another is
Yeah, right,
actually
right.
the subtitle for this
One
film.
melodrama after another, but she's
Yeah.
terrific in it. And
So
but
you're
just it's
agreeing with
Jesse Buckley.
Jesse
It,
Buckley,
yeah,
FTW for the win. Um,
the
well,
most sure thing of them all so far.
you know what this means? Renate Reinsve is going to win for sentimental value. Chris points out, I can't sleep. I've only seen one film, one battle, and I didn't enjoy it that much, to be honest. It hasn't been for everyone. It's been for most people, but I have seen some instances of that.
Well, Chris,
So,
I will also recommend if you haven't seen War of the Worlds with Ice Cube, you haven't really seen anything. So do yourself a favor as you try to go to sleep, put that on. You will be out by Act 2.
yeah, just be ready for a movie that looks kind of the way Eric and I do in little rectangles. The only difference is Ice Cube constantly saying "damn." But anyway, that's for the Razzies. So we have supporting actor Benicio del Toro for the aforementioned One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo in Sinners, Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. The sentimental value that I am ascribing to this is that I would love to see Delroy Lindo win for Sinners. I think he's great in that movie. He's been great for my whole lifetime and before that, but he's great. Whenever you see him, you go like, oh my gosh, this guy's great. So he's who I would like to see win. But Benicio del Toro was also great. And I do think that it is Benicio's to lose. Sean Penn's amazing. But I think you can split the vote a lot of times when it's the same movie. That might work in the case of Delroy Lindo. But I'm sticking with, who did I say? Oh, I said I want it to be Delroy, but I think it's Benicio. Yeah. So that's my thought. And the fact of the matter is that James agrees with me because he deserves it, and it's about time. Even if I'd love to see Benicio, yes, I will be very happy for Benicio del Toro. But that's just where I'm at now. Do you have some sentimental value for Stellan Skarsgård? Do you think that Sean Penn was so much larger than life that he actually needs to win? What are your thoughts, Eric?
Well, Sean Penn's performance, which within the first couple minutes features a very large erection. And usually that is my measuring stick for a great male performance. But it might have been too great. It might have been too much girth.
By the way, his appearance in Shanghai Surprise starts the same way.
That was the Shanghai Surprise.
Yeah, that's what Madonna would call it.
Spoiler alert, very early, very often.
Very early, yeah.
Sean Penn's already got 2 Oscars. If not, I would say this was his. But he's already won twice. Benicio's won. Delroy Lindo, what an amazing actor that guy is. And
he really is a sentimental favorite, a sentimental value. Like people love him.
Same thing. Be thrilled if he wins. He is just always brings it, always makes a movie better. I remember him in Clockers, where I had no idea who that actor was, and he was the best thing in that film. The Five Bloods, which came out, and I think it went maybe straight to Netflix or one of those. But he is so good in that, and in some ways, I could almost see it that he would win as almost an apology for not even getting nominated for the Five Bloods. I can't say
Duh.
But another veteran who's been always killing it too, Stellan Skarsgård. And not only that, he gave us 2 Skarsgårds, one very handsome, one who played Pennywise. He's one of those incredible character actors who same kind of thing as Delroy Lindo. Honestly, it's just like for decades they show up, they make movies better. But similar thing as I was saying about Marty Supreme. This is the only award I'm thinking sentimental value wins, and I think it's Stellan's to. Mr. Skarsgård, I think, will have the Oscar on his mantle.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean,
say it.
again, when you're supposed to just be working on this specific piece of work, it's hard to not factor in past Skarsgårdian performances, but we will have to see. I think. Well, James agreed with me. So, best supporting actress, I have what I feel like belongs here. We have Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value, Inga Ibsdottir in Sentimental Value. Whoa. Amy Madigan in Weapons, Wunmi Masaku in Sinners, Tiana Taylor in One Battle After Another. I have a feeling that this is Tiana Taylor's award to lose. I believe she will win. I would love to see Amy Madigan win for Weapons because it's such an unhinged performance and it's such an unexpected nomination. And I saw that movie with our mutual friend Liam, and what he said afterwards is something I agreed with. The movie kept you guessing. Whenever you thought you had figured it out, you're like, well, no, they've kind of disproven what I thought it was. And so I thought it is not necessarily what you think of as traditional Oscar fare. That character she plays is a great performance, but again, it's a genre movie. But I'd like to see it. I'm going to put in an official pick for Amy Madigan, even though I fully expect Tiana Taylor to win. James agrees with me. His pick is Amy Madigan. Eric, what say you, Connor?
3 for 3. I very much agree with all your logic here, Mr. Blatt. I think Tiana Taylor most years would win this. I think she really is remarkable, and she's so good that she disappears after the first act, and yet you never stop. You never forget her. Like she's kind of hovering over the whole
that's
film.
very true.
And but best supporting actress, this is one of those fun categories that oftentimes is the surprise winner of the 4 acting ones. Dating back to when my cousin Vinny, oh my gosh, Aunt May,
Marissa
Tomei.
Tomei.
Marissa Tomei.
Yes. But yes, Aunt May. Yeah. Go ahead.
That's all she is, and the rest.
I mean, you speak my language. No, Aunt May.
Yeah,
it begins and ends with Aunt May.
Stripper with the Heart of Gold and the Wrestler. All the great roles. But she, Amy Madigan, similar to my logic with Stellan Skarsgård, and maybe yours also with Delroy Lindo to an extent. It's like the idea of actors have been around for a long time. I mean, Amy Madigan, in the 80s into the 90s, she was in quite a bit. And then she wasn't in as much for a long time. She's married to Ed Harris. She would show up in some of his projects, but we hadn't seen her in a while, at least as far as I mean, if I click on IMDb, I'm sure she's been acting regularly, but not necessarily in bigger films. And the movie would not work if she didn't work. Because the first half is so great, and then it goes and it has a bit of a twist. Okay, right? What is going on here? And that's her character. And if she wasn't as good as she was, the second half of this film would have fallen apart.
It falls apart, yeah.
She nailed it. And I adore that when she won the Actors Award, she ran up with the arms by the side like the kids in Weapons. So if nothing else, I would see that. And also I would say we're not just 3 for 3 on this, we're 4 for 4 because Mr. Hollywood, aka my elder son, also believes Amy Madigan will win, and he has sided with me in all of this, except he thinks Sean Penn.
Okay, I think that's that's a fair choice.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong with Spicoli is something that I think we've all known for a long time, and whenever Weapons comes out, I need to point out that the one young boy who remains when all of his classmates disappear, Alex, is his character's name in the film. That is a young man who my son Felix is friends with and has been since kindergarten. So I was very proud to see him in that. and he's got some wild stuff coming up that I don't think has been announced yet. But he's doing great, and I thought he was great in this movie. And it's very hard to talk to him about like, hey, you're really good in that movie. So instead, I just pretend that I don't know. But he was great at it. And he's got scenes with Amy Madigan, so he has to share this screen with her, which is kind of something I really want to know, like working with her and all that get up, I guess is the best way to describe what she's wearing. We'll see. I feel good about this. And if Mr. Hollywood is on our side, I feel like we can't go wrong.
The stars align. Yeah. Wait, and also too, it means like if this is real life, that means your son, right, would have been one of the kids running with the arms.
He would, right? He would have had to be. Yeah.
Oh, gee. I mean, that didn't freak you out at all. I was like, oh shit, all these kids' classmates are taken. My son is one of those classmates.
No, but after that movie came out, my son did go to his birthday party, and I stayed close. I had to make sure that there was no running out into the woods or into anyone's home in the middle of the night.
As long as you have a ruler, you can find him, because apparently Josh Brolin's the only man in that whole town who has a ruler, and that was the key. And I'm glad that ruler still can save lives.
Yeah, well, just in the sequel, it'll be a compass and a slide rule. So get ready for that. The next category,
we have a cameo. Mr. Hollywood, say hi and then leave.
Mr. Hollywood,
better win Best Picture.
Oh, better win. All right, he's
You
threatening
heard it from
someone.
The man himself.
Mr. Hollywood is. That's a threat. Yeah, he's gonna send Amy Madigan to someone's house if
it's coming in hot and threatening you. I like this angle. If
YouTube terms of service, he would have two movies fight in a boxing ring. Exactly. Right. Best adapted screenplay is probably the easiest to predict out of everything, because the nominees are Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Train Dreams, and oh, looky here, One Battle After Another is an adapted screenplay. That's got to win. I'm sorry for everyone else. It's an honor to be nominated, but especially for anybody who might not be voting for it for other categories, people who might instead be voting for Sinners for something, for example. They'll be like, all right, I'm going to give it this, like Tarantino, I think, has won adapted screenplay, an original screenplay, one or the other. And sometimes you're just getting it for the page, not the actual on the screen work. What say you, Eric Connor?
Yeah, this is Paul Thomas Anderson's the most gimme of all his potential big wins. I think is this one, and I wouldn't be shocked, I guess, if Hamnet snuck in there. But aside from that, it feels like this also, by the way, for him as a writer. I mean, I think Boogie Nights is remarkable, but a lot of his films, I think, like kind of sometimes fall in that same kind of like, I don't know if it's a trap or whatever, but it's like the second half of the film sometimes, because he is such an original storyteller, he'll do things like cut over major moments that kind of would help us understand the characters.
Yeah.
Jump ahead like he did in There Will Be Blood. Or The Master, where suddenly a character is like, maybe I'll just change everything and leave. And I feel like this is one I really could follow the characters throughout the story. And they went to some crazy places, but it always felt earned. It always felt understood, and emotionally I was with them the whole time, which isn't always the case, I think, with some of his films, and definitely not the case for you with Licorice Pizza, for sure.
No, by the way, I meant to say before, when we're talking about Amy Madigan, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress in 1986, so 40 years. Actually, I guess it's 1986 for a film from 1985. The film is called Twice in a Lifetime. So 40 years later, she gets nominated again.
Wow.
But let me just point out, in 1986, well, who was she nominated against for Best Supporting Actress? Angelica Houston for Prizzi's Honor, Meg Tilly for Agnes of God, Margaret Avery for The Color Purple, and Oprah Winfrey for The Color Purple. So it was an honor to be nominated in 1986, but I hope we can make up for it.
Field.
And if Calverton says howdy Christian, and I'm going to pretend that I don't get this, Natas Liha Lala, people can figure out what that means. Read it backwards. Yeah. So thank you, Calverton. It's great to see you. So as easy as it is to talk about adapted screenplay, similarly, as easy as it is to talk about original screenplay going to Sinners. I don't have a fun graphic there, but I'm just saying that it's really, these are the gimmies for people that are voting for the other one and stuff.
Mhm.
They're going to give it original or adapted screenplay. I think that Sinners is a very original film. So original screenplay, it tends to make sense. I don't know if you agree or you disagree, but the others are Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, and Blue Moon, which I'm fairly sure is a Neil Young album, but I do know that it is an affordably priced lager. But what are your thoughts out of those? Do you feel like it's got to be Sinners?
I can't imagine a world where it's not.
Yeah.
This is like the most, again, these two storytellers both like really shining on the page. And I mean, how do you not give it to Sinners, considering it also is the most nominated movie of all time? Which, by the way, going back to something you said with Best Director, that's something really that could put Ryan Coogler over the top, because if you have one movie has that many nominations, like, you got to look at the director as the ringmaster who put it all together. But
That's
yeah,
true.
this one, Sinners is such a given on this one. I think it's like him and P.T. Anderson have the same thing, which is just they're winning. Just how many?
Yes, right. Yeah, exactly. How much mantle space do you need?
Right.
There are so many other categories, and we're not going to talk about all of them. And I appreciate James for sending so many, but best documentary short. I mean, in the days where I would go to an Oscar party and be filling out a ballot, I would have to pick something. And when it comes to things like documentary and documentary short, Eric, I don't mean to demean the plight and suffering, but anytime there was a Holocaust film, you're like, well, that's going to win, and you were usually right. In the documentary category, you're just like, okay, where is that? And if there isn't, well, then something like Hoop Dreams could win. But so
Best.
yeah, well, of course. But I do know that there is a very divisive topic, a very divisive category here in my household. And it is for best animated feature. And you would think, what? What's the big deal? What's the hubbub, bub? And there are some films that there's Arco, Elio, which that really surprises me. We saw that over the summer. It's a very sweet movie. It was not very well received. It was a Pixar movie. Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain. Now, that's the thing. It's something like that easily win. I'm like, well, I haven't seen that. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Even if it wins, I'm not going to see that. So in my household, it comes down to my daughter's favorite movie, and my daughter doesn't love to go see movies. My 8-year-old daughter, she likes popcorn. She likes an icy. Going to the movies for a movie isn't always for her, except for Zootopia 2. She loved her some Zootopia 2, and because she has an older brother who's 10, there is a hatred for K-pop Demon Hunter in my household, and there's a lot of expectation that it's going to win. It's going to win for song, but if it were to lose, if it were to particularly lose to Zootopia 2, there would be much rejoicing. Yay. But it's such a weird, different kind of nominee for the Oscars. I feel like a lot of these voters have never seen anything like K-pop Demon Hunter. I'm going to make it my official pick. That's right. You heard it. Lock it in. And
I'm lined
Yeah,
up.
go ahead.
So I believe James.
Yeah, James feels that. He says it's a fraudulent category since The Day the Earth Blew Up wasn't even nominated, which I thought that was the third Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie, but maybe I'm confused. I don't know.
My write-in campaign for Cool World also didn't help it. So, yeah, there's been a lot of great
It's
animation.
some of Brad Pitt's finest work.
Kim Basinger, animated form, regular form, whatever I can get.
I would. I would.
Yeah. I think I don't think it's cheating. If she's animated, not at all.
No.
I think Heather and Lauren would both be okay with that. Yeah, K-pop Demon Hunter. You would think like, how did something like this, which is so clearly so populous, so to speak, win this category? But this is the one people know. I mean, this is the Zootopia 2, by the way, one of the biggest money makers in Pixar history, if not the.
Yeah.
And it's great. I'm not Pixar, Disney animated.
It is
history.
Disney, yeah.
Yeah, and it is great. I think both Zootopias are terrific stories, and not just really good animated films, good cartoons. They're really good stories.
Yes.
Very well voice acted. But K-pop Demon Hunter is, I mean, it's having such a moment. Every one of those voters has a kid or a grandkid who loves that movie. So, and sings that song. So yeah, I agree. K-pop market. All three of us agree.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. I feel uniquely unqualified to talk about any of these other categories that James was so kind as to give us his picks for a lot of them. But original song, he picked "I Lied to You," and he wouldn't be shocked for Golden to take it. I feel like there's a lot of people that feel like K-pop Demon Hunter for animated feature and then Golden winning for song. That would be a moment, but listen, when Pulp Fiction didn't win anything and Blame Canada from the South Park movie didn't win, that's when I realized I'm like, okay,
There is
the
no
things
God.
the things that are best. No, there is no God, or God is not dead. That's not nominated. The faith-based films don't have their own category. But
The sequel.
sorry to Kevin
God might be
Sorbo.
dead.
Kevin Sorbo was this close. If only there was that category. So yeah, I think. Excuse me. I think that that's a category at least to quickly comment on. But I think that there is a level of excitement should that manage to win. But the Dear Me from Diane Warren. And didn't James say something that he wants Diane Warren to keep losing? Yes. I'll be happy as long as Diane Warren continues to lose, which is very funny. Sorry you couldn't be here with us,
Her
James.
accountant is fine either way. Like, she's doing great.
Yeah.
But I mean, the amount of losses that woman has racked up it's beyond Susan Lucci. Susan Lucci eventually won for.
She did eventually win. Yeah.
It took a while, but she got there. Diane Warren is the perpetual bridesmaids of songwriters, but honestly, her songs are kind of those. They're always like, they're good, but they're not the one you're going to marry. They're not the one you're going to sing in the shower.
Not a shock if I Lied to You wins because it's from Sinners. I like the idea that Train Dreams has a song called Train Dreams. And I hope that they many times say that these are the train dreams. They're like, and maybe we even hear some train songs. But it's by Nick Cave of End the Bad Seeds, Once Upon a Time. So that's kind of interesting. But and I don't know.
And by the way, it's a very good song, and I love Nick Cave. But yeah, no, this is I don't know how they don't give it the Golden. I mean, that song has transcended every media, So it's kind of like, of the technical ones, that's the one that seems like the most obvious. And I think Frankenstein will get some of the technical ones. I had it down for like makeup and hair and production design. Avatar, I guess they give it again for a visual effect.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, I've seen all three Avatar, humble brag, and the spectacle, what we're looking at on the screen just improves so much each time. And I mean, the first one 15 years ago, everything that you looked at was like, wow, this is an amazing achievement. It is very technical. It's almost like, oh, it's the best researched paper, but is it the best written? But That's not what we're voting on. I just, in terms of music, I wanted to point out for score, Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Ludwig Göransson, our friend James, says Sinners with the score. I do remember it having a good score, but I kind of remember One Battle After Another as well. So even when it comes to best score, we're still pitting these two films against each other, Eric.
I think Sinners, gets it too because the music was such a part of the story. So I think like even if people don't remember the specific score versus the song, they remember like music. But I mean Johnny Greenwood, part of Radiohead, I would love to see him win, especially after he went after Melania because they used some of his music without his okay. So if I didn't like him enough already, and I already did, I love him even more for that. But yeah, this is Ludwig Göransson's. I think he's won before, and he'll win again. He'll win again after this. He's very good.
So Brett Ratner will get nominated for Melania next year, I guess. It must have come out too late. Is that what happened?
It's good. It will sweep the Razzies. They're going to create new categories, I think, just for it.
That's probably true. Yeah, very, very much true. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? A nominated film that you feel like we haven't given their fair due? Is there any specific category that I want to give you a chance to weigh in on before we put this thing to bed, as we like to say?
Well, I'm still not exactly sure how F1 got a Best Picture nomination, but it definitely the best sound feels like that's it.
Sure.
I mean, obviously the other options here are quite good, including Sirat. An international film got nominated for that, but yeah, F1's going to win Best Sound. Blue Moon is a movie I really enjoyed. I loved Ethan Hawke in that. I don't think it's going to win anything, but it is one. It's now on Netflix. Very much feels like a play, but that's also the charm of it. It's all set in like one place over one night, and it's beautifully done. Really, it could have easily got a couple more nominations and would have made sense, but pretty crowded field. I thought there was some really terrific performances and writing this year, so I get why it didn't get more. Also, by the way, there's a movie called Best Documentary Short. I have not seen this. Armed Only with a Camera: The Life and Death of Brent Renaud. And anytime a movie has a colon in it and extra words, I'm going to vote for it.
In
the X versus Sever clause.
In 1979, I voted for Star Trek: The Motion Picture in every category because there was a colon in it. And I also wanted to make sure that people recognize the talents of Perseus Khambatta, aka the bald chick. But anyway, so I don't know about you, but I'm very best hair. I'm very excited to see how this showdown, YouTube terms of service in a boxing ring between Sinners and One Battle After Another. I don't know. I feel like they're very evenly matched, and I could see each of these head-to-heads going either way. I'm giving a little bit of an edge to Sinners, and it kind of seems like you're giving an edge to One Battle After Another. Is that accurate?
That seems 100% accurate, and I guess, I mean, should we put some money on this? Pink slips, our cars, our wives. You went from cars to wives, so you went from pinks to pinks. But how about Pink's hot dogs? Maybe I like that.
One of us could buy, and they have a Pink's hot dogs at the LA Zoo now, so we don't even have to go into Hollywood.
Oh, I know, but don't you want to wait in line a long time for a somewhat disappointing piece of horse ass?
Well, it sounds like prom night to me, so why not? Anyway, sorry that the bell happened to be here. People are like, what do these two do? He's got a bell there. Anyway, the Academy Awards are Sunday, this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And you will see Matt Kelly and myself doing a little Oscars post show. That'll include awards, but hopefully Conan's up to some good, as Conan so often is. And we appreciate people tuning in for our picks, and we were happy to also share James's. The 3 schedules were actually really tough to put together for this. It's almost like we should have started trying like a month earlier, but well, that's
and also
on us.
A shout out to Mr. Hollywood, who we'll see where he lands. He and I used to give him a handicap of a few picks, but as he's gotten older, I took that away, and we battle. I mean, for his birthright, sort of we go biblical with our bets in this household.
Yes, right, exactly. Exactly, as a friend of mine would say. So I'm excited to see how it all goes, but more than that, I'm excited for everything that's going on over here at Geekscape. You gotta subscribe, you gotta support all the shows I mentioned. Geekscape News, which is a daily feature. It's very quick, except for when Katie and I do it. Then it's like 20 minutes, but it's usually like 15 minutes. And actually, Dylan and I did one that I thought was going to be 5 minutes. It ended up being 9. But let's just say it was a light news day. But we talked about then all of a sudden the news broke that Catherine Hahn was going to be the mother in the Tangled live action Disney film. So like we at least had something. So we got to walk down the witch's road, basically. But I mentioned all of that to say that if you've enjoyed seeing Eric and I here, then you're going to love watching us talk about Daredevil every week, starting in a little bit more than a week, actually, on the 25th of March. I just had to slow down and make sure I got the day right. At very late night for the East Coast, but here on the West Coast, it'll be at 9 p.m. We'll start our weekly reviews of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. And I'm very excited for that. How would you quantify your excitement level?
1 to 10, I'd put it at somewhere between a 1 and a 10. I'm very excited for it. It's Daredevil Born Again was great, and you also can, of course, find my incredibly fast-paced, informative review of old school OG Daredevil, which I watched over the course of just like a couple of weeks. I binged the whole thing. I think I was recovering from like a surgery.
So when you say OG Daredevil, you're talking about Jon Favreau as Foggy and Joey Pants as Ben Urich, and of course the one true Daredevil, Ben Affleck.
I mean, I was there another one I just don't know about? I thought it went right from that.
We're talking about it. Yeah, you talked about the Netflix series. So
yes, I did. 3 seasons of it, and it's a very brisk. I think I crammed it all in about 15 or so minutes. So you got 15 minutes to spare when you do. Obviously, if you're still watching us at 11 p.m. West Coast, 2 a.m. East Coast, check it out. It's pretty informative if I do. And I wear my red glasses.
You made me realize that. I told Matt I would do a recap on season 1, and I'm running out of time for that. So I'm going to have to do that really soon. Anyway, so that's where you'll see us. But there's so much great stuff going on at Geekscape, and there always is. So make sure you can check that out, and you can find me on my personal podcast, the Blattcast, BLADTCAST. And I appreciate that. Eric Connor, where can people find you?
Go find me, Count Eric Connor, over on the X, over on the Insta, and then hanging out, I'm the little dog behind the big dog of Christian on Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and occasionally pop up in other Geekscape things. So, hang around there, see what you find.
Yes, and also Eric always wants to remind everyone with peace and love. Make sure that all fan mail postmarked after October the 10th, it will be tossed. He's not signing anything anymore. So, but you always you say that with peace and love, peace and love, and that is a perfect way to end. With Chris Tuthill with an adios amigos. Great to see you. And Chris, make sure to check out our Oscars recap here on Geekscape News. And also, I'm doing my annual Oscars recap over on the Blackcast, BLADTCAST, with my friend Christian Toto. That's not at all confusing. Two Christians talking about Hollywood.
And no Jews. I wasn't invited.
You're never invited for that one, but you're invited for other shows. So, so you can check all that out. And we appreciate the opportunity. Matt Kelly would have loved to have been here, but he's been asleep for like 5 hours at this point. Let's be honest. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we will see you at the movies. I think we originated that right now, right? That's not from somewhere else.
Never.